Hare Krishna. So, yesterday we began with the chapter 8 titled Attaining the Supreme. And in that, we saw how from the last chapter, 7th chapter, Krishna had mentioned some of the terms Sadi Bhutam, Sadi Devam, Sadi Adhyagyam, Adhyatma, Brahma, Karma. So, Arjuna in this chapter asked, what is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adibhuta? What is Adidaiva? What is Adiyagya? And how is Adhyagya known in this body? And how to know you at the point of death? So, the third and fourth verse, uh, Krishna gave answer that Jiva is indestructible, is Aksharam, is transcendental living entity separate from the material body. And eternal nature of that Jiva is a Swabhava, that always the impressions that accompany the Jiva with him. And fruity activities of Jiva lead to the transmigration, that is, from one body to another body, the soul moves. That is karma. And Adibhuta is the Prakriti, which is constantly changing. Is it Kshara? Aksharam is not changing. Ksharam is changing. Hmm. And it is majorly consisting of all elements, material elements. Bhumira, Aponalo, Vayu, Khamano, Buddhirya, Vacho. And what is Adidaiva? It is a Virat root, the universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods and their planets, everything into it. We saw how the different limbs of the Virata Purusha are relating to the different aspects and different demigods. What is Adi Yagya? The Paramatma, that is Supreme Lord, and that is present everywhere. And then that is Adi Yagya. How the person will remember, that is explained. Then at the time of death, it is explained in the verses 5, 6, 7, 8. So where Antakale cha Maameva Smaran Mukta Kalevaram. Their direct remembrance, direct method is given by Krishna, that whosoever at the end of the life remembers me, quits this body, he will attain Krishna's nature, Krishna's loka, Goloka. And if somebody remembers Krishna, then he will attain Krishna. But if somebody remembers something else, then he will attain that object also. That is also very clearly told in the next verse. That is Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavate Jante Ante Kalevaram Tam Tamevati Kaunte Sadatad Bhavat Bhavita. So if you remember Krishna, you will attain Krishna. But if you remember something else, then you will get something else as a destination, as per that whatever is now thought of. We saw the example of Bharat Maharaj thinking of deer at the time of death. So previous thoughts are generally remembered at the time of death. So one should practice Krishna consciousness throughout of his life. And along with performing the duty also. Then remembering Krishna at the time of death will be possible. Therefore, Krishna says in the seventh verse, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Manusmaramutya Yuddhacha. So you remember me whenever you are fighting, whatever duties you are doing. Arjuna was fighting, but we all are doing some other different duties. So, Mai Arpita Mano Buddhir. Offer your mind and intelligence unto Lord, and then certainly will come back to God, it you will attain Supreme Lord Krishna. And therefore, Abhyas also is told. If you are to practice means you have to do proper Abhyas. That is Abhyas Yoga Yuktena Chetasana Nanyagamina. With undivided mind and consciousness, who meditates Abhyas Yoga Yuktena, then he will attain the Supreme Lord. And constantly thinking of him, she will remember him. So in this eighth verse, I was trying to speak a couple of things I couldn't cover yesterday. Time was short. So Krishna is telling Anuchintayan, it's constant remembrance. So that constant remembrance will come easily by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, as very much explained in this chapter, these verses. And Krishna is also using the word Parama Purusham. So Param Purusha means like Krishna himself is telling. Krishna could have said, you can remember me, but this is for the yogis. And then yogis, when they are practicing yoga, they don't understand Krishna as the supreme absolute truth. They don't have that understanding. They have, uh, if they have clarity, like the yogis, they do more introspection by self analyzing over one's thought, or meditation by certainly following certain process. But uh, introspection and meditation will not lead to uh, full revelation of the Lord, but it will certainly help us to progress on the path of devotional service or path of absolute truth. Now, one person may progress, but only by revelation in the heart, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito, one can know the Krishna effect. That absolute Supreme Lord is absolute, and that is person, that is Krishna. This will be revealed. This cannot be achieved by introspection and meditation. So that is very important aspect for the devotees by their sincere intent of service to the Guru and Krishna. The by mercy of Krishna and by the mercy of Guru, Divya becomes prakata in her hridaya. So therefore, Paramam Purusham Krishna is indicating as a third person. And interestingly, in the purport also, Prabhupada says that uh, you can chant Hare Krishna and remember any features like Narayan, Krishna, Ram, etc. by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we can relate. I remember early days, people used to ask such question when we were coming to Pune temple. That if no, I am from actually Ayodhya, so my Swarupa is Ayodhya only. So no, Lord Ram only. So I have to, how can I chant Hare Krishna? That kind of thoughts people may get. But actually, that is not the right understanding. Our general such attraction for this the personality like Rama or Krishna or Narsimha is because of the cultural aspect, not necessarily the spiritual aspect. Because we are born in that culture, because we were present in that situation, and therefore we develop those little samskaras, but not at the soul level or spiritual level. The process of realization is a Harinam Sankirtan. That is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Once one advances and purifies his heart, once he purifies his heart, then he will be revealed what is his uh, Swarupa by the mercy of God, not by his own efforts and endeavors. If he constantly keeps surrendering to the Guru, instruction of Guru, and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, serving the Hari Guru Vaishnavas, then slowly this thing will be revealed. So one has to understand the Yuga Dharma for this Kali Yuga is Harinam Sankirtan. And our liking is more of cultural, not a spiritual. Our feeling that I may be on this, I may be on that platform. So, irrespective of whatever your Swarupa may be, to perfect or to attain that situation to stage, one has to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is very important aspect. So, uh, that is spoken in this 8 chapters, 8th verse, Prarthana Chintayan. So, eight verse is more or less a repetition of the 7th verse because it is talking again. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam manasmara. And then again he is telling that Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasana anyagama. So in both the places it is told that thinking of Krishna. For seventh one, it is still telling about think of Krishna always. And eighth one says attain Krishna by remembering him always. Now, how to think about Krishna? Arjuna will tell there are different ways how one can remember Krishna. So Acharya also gives nice links here. Vishwanath Chakri Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan, they are telling that without practice of yoga, it is difficult to withdraw the mind from the senses. So we understand this is very true. That if we don't practice yoga, then it is very difficult to withdraw the mind from the senses. And without withdrawing the mind from the senses, it is difficult to think constantly of the Lord. If we are not, our mind is absorbed always in our activities or activities of sense objects, then it is very difficult to think of Krishna. We all have uh, experience when we are unable to give up certain thoughts, then japa gets fully disturbed. Therefore, one should execute such bhakti with some type of yoga practice. The Lord here speaks of such bhakti mixed with Ashtanga Yoga, Yoga Mishra Bhakti in the next five verses. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So these five verses, now Krishna is speaking about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. And why is speaking about Yoga Mishra Bhakti? Because that yogi who is practicing his yoga, now he has to, uh, because it is difficult for him to relate or to control the mind and senses. Therefore, he is taking help. He is unable to remember the Supreme Lord directly. So he is taking help of Yoga Mishra. And along with that, he is doing. So these are the different aspects of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Somebody has raised hand. Some question is there? I'm not audible.
No,
Audible?
Prabhuji, it was by mistake,
Audible?
Prabhuji. Audible.
Audible, no? Okay. So then these are now here. In this ninth verse, uh, it is explained that how Krishna can be remembered in different ways. These are the different facets of Krishna. Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Manor Maniyam Samanusmaridya Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person. So somebody can read. I think you wanted to read that time, for that he was raising the hand.
One
One
should
should
meditate.
meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is the smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is the luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond the material nature.
Yes. So these are the different aspects how we can meditate on Krishna. Kavim, Puranam, Anushasitaram, Anoraniyam, Samanusmaredya, Sarvasya Dhataram, Achintya Rupam, Aditya Varnam, Tamasa Parasta, like that. So these are the different aspects here we can see very clearly now in this next. So this verse is talking about 10 different ways of meditating on Lord Krishna. Kavim means is a knower of the everything, past, present, and future. So Krishna knows everything. Krishna is knower of everything, past, present, and future. Anushasi, Puranam. Generally, the in this material world also we see that wisdom is associated with the age. The doctor is very experienced, very old person, but very experienced doctor. So people take very faithfully. So Krishna is Puranam, is the oldest, and Anushasitaram. Generally, when person is old, then his abilities gets dwindled. But although Krishna is the oldest, but still he has everything in control. Anushasitaram, everything in its control, although he is oldest. Anoraniya, and he's smaller than the smallest. Is the smaller than the smallest means his atoms are considered to the small, and he's even smaller than atoms also. Anusmaredyah, they understand Krishna properly. Yogis, they don't do just Leela meditation directly, but they try to understand Krishna as it is, as he is. Anusmaredyah. Mhm. So here it is given. Controller. Anushishitaram and Anor Aniyam. Uh, Smaradhya is not mentioned here. Dhataram, the maintainer directly, maintainer. Beyond all the material conception, all the big planets are floating by his energy. And then Sarvasya Dhataram, Krishna uh, is maintaining the smallest of the small and biggest of the biggest. Micro and macro, both the worlds are completely maintained. Without Krishna's arrangement, nothing can be maintained. A person may think that or actually I have my own factory, I have on my job, or I am earning my money. So why I am depending on Krishna? I have everything with myself. So okay, person may have factory. He may produce a lot of nut bolts and laptops and gadgets. Or person may earn a lot of money. He may earn not only in rupees, but he may earn in dollars and gold also. But can he eat dollars, gold, and rupees and nut boards and mobile laptops? No, because Krishna has made a background arrangement in the nature that when rain comes, the grain comes, and grain comes, then we eat. And that is how we're sustaining our lives actually. So the basic principle of life, earth, water, fire, air, ether, that has been maintained, sanctioned, and governed, and organized, and orchestrated everything by the Supreme Lord. So without Lord Krishna's background arrangement, we cannot think of maintaining ourselves. Mm. We all have experience of Corona time, how we were struggling to get oxygen. Sarvasya Dhataram, Achintya Rupam is inconceivable. Uh, so Lord's potency is completely inconceivable. Actually, the last paragraph completely talks about this inconceivable energy. I'm just reading it, you all can hear attentively. It is stated here that the Supreme Lord, by his inconceivable energy, is sustaining all these big planets and systems of galaxies. The word achintya, inconceivable, is very significant in this connection. God's energy is beyond our conception, beyond our thinking, jurisdiction, and is therefore called inconceivable, achintya. Who can argue this point? He pervades this material world, and yet he is beyond it. We cannot comprehend even the material world, which is insignificant compared to the spiritual world. So how can we comprehend what is beyond? Achintya means that which is beyond the material world, that which our argument, logic, and philosophical speculation cannot touch, that which is inconceivable. Therefore, intelligent person avoiding useless argument and speculation should accept what is stated in the scriptures like Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam and follow the principles they set down. This will lead one to the understanding. So, Prabhupada is very focused. He's telling here uh, that is beyond our argument, logic, and philosophical speculation. Cannot touch him. So, this is Achintya Rupam. And Aditya Varnam is very effulgent. Lot of rays are coming from him. And Tamasa Parasta is beyond darkness also. Is beyond darkness also. So in this way, we can understand and think of Krishna in different ways. So these are the different 10 aspects of the Supreme Lord's personality. And by thinking of these aspects, we can immediately connect to Krishna, just like we were talking about maintainer aspect. So when we speak about maintainer aspect like that, we can contemplate on every aspect and try to relate with Krishna's. So now the next 10th verse he will speak about Shat Chakra Yoga. Shatchokra Yoga is Krishna is speaking about. प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव गुरोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्. Would like to read Vishwas Prabhu.
One who at the time of death fixes his life here between the eyebrows and, by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes. So, Satam Puram Purusham Upayati Divyam. He will certainly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who will certainly attain? Prayana Kale Manasachalena. At the time of death, he is fixing his air, life air, prana, where Bhruvor Madhye, between the eyebrows. And then, by the strength of yoga, with undeviating mind, engage himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion. So this is also very important aspect, Not just you have to control your mind and senses, but you have to remember the Supreme Lord in full devotion. Then certainly one will attain the Supreme Lord. So here, uh, the different aspects. Yeah, just a minute. I could not introduce one concept here. Okay, after this verse, I'll talk about, or during this verse, only I'll speak about it. So meditation means fixing the mind. So generally, people think that meditation means it is little relaxation. Okay, chalo, we have worked very hard for 1 week. Now let us relax and let us do some meditation. But actually, relaxation will not come just immediately after meditation like that. First, person has to get uh, purified by meditation, and then will pacification will come. Because we see devotees are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and they are having such a tough fight with their mind in the everyday morning. So somebody who comes with a rosy idea that okay, I'll just chant Hare Krishna, and then I'll be completely transcendental plane. Of course, he can be, provided he chant offenselessly and so sheltered away. But generally, that his shelter doesn't come from the Lord Krishna. His shelter comes in the beginning because there are no alternative options available in the material world. Therefore, he somehow tries to tell after all frustration, and that certainly gives him a higher understanding. But subtle uh, abilities and subtle uh, his uh, I want to say, I'm not getting the word exactly, tendencies. His tendencies are there to control, to enjoy, to do these things. So unless he doesn't get purified by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, pacification will not come. So even if some pacification is there, but without purification of heart, it will not last long. People will go for half an hour, do yoga, and then again they will get into the same activities what they're doing otherwise. So it is use of Manni Punjara Shochavat, again doing the same activities like that. So if anybody is approaching the meditation with understanding that okay, I will get relaxation, then it may be little frustrating for him. Actually, meditation should be taken as more. It is a challenge, rewarding challenge. If I do it very nicely for a consistent period of time, then things will technically come to understanding very more clearly. So that is first general understanding what people carry. I tried to clarify, and then there is the next is a having the uh, Bhruvor Madhya Prana. So this is the technicality of Ashtanga Yoga in brief. Is talking about. So we are going to see what is this now next verse, next slide. You see, this talks about Shat Chakra Yoga recommend in this verse. So these are the different chakras. So what are these chakras? These chakras is nothing but in general understanding, to understand is like a prana. So this is life air, and that life air has little stratums at different parts of the body, which we'll see in detail now in the next verse slide. And that prana can be elevated at different that becomes from the below most. There are seven chakras, so they get elevated from one to another. And the yogi moves the prana vayu from that level to the top level, to the head, from the bottommost to the topmost level. And as per the consciousness what person will carry at the time of death, he will go to that place. So sometimes they call it as Kundalini chakra, also they call it, and they govern that portion of the body in that. So here, if you see the detail even here, these are the chakras, you know, Mooladhara chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, Manipura chakra, Anahata chakra, Vishuddha chakra, Agya chakra, and Sahasrara chakra. So these are at a different, their locations also are given. This Muladhara chakra is base of the spine, and then Swadhisthana chakra is from below navel to the above the hip till that place. Then Manipur chakra is from above navel to the below sternum. So like that, the top one is Sahasra chakra, that is top of the head. And there are different colors given here. What they governs, this chakras governs what? We'll see the one example of first one. We may not have time to discuss all in detail, and there is no need also. So I'm just giving some understanding. So Muladhara chakra, this location is base of the spine. It signifies, it shows in red color, and that governs the physical security, survival, sense of belonging. So when this is activated, then person have these things. He has physical security, survival, sense of belonging is there. And he's open to the materialistic ideas, but he's very self-centered and he's bullying, is bossing over the others. And what he's blocked at what? He's not fearful. He doesn't have low self-esteem. So this is Muladhara Chakra. And he's high physical energy, grounded and self-mastery. So like that, what is his block to, what is open to in this situation, and how is balanced to what aspect in the life that is mentions. So like that, person develops. And the last one, when he comes to the top head, violet, his connection with the power of spirituality is open to difficulty dealing, staying in and dealing with the reality. Is blocked to the ability to make decisions, materialism. He is no more to the materialistic ideas, and he doesn't go to the any ability. He whatever situation comes, he can find out the right ways and move forward. He becomes very magnetic personality. So these are the system of Shat Chakra progress. And after doing all this, person has to remember Krishna. When we saw in the verse, if you see here, engages himself in the remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion. If he is not remembering, then like he will get different destination also. So bhaktya yukto yoga balena means fix the mind in devotion at death. And how? Yoga balena, by practice. So this indicates that without practice of yoga, Shat Chakra or Bhakti Yoga, one cannot come to the transcendental stage by remembering the Lord at the death. So we have to put efforts from our side. So one is advised to practice transcendental throughout yoga during his one's life. And this particular slide, it gives a clarity on how Yoga Mishra Bhakti, the different verse numbers like 8.10, 8.11, 11.12, and 8.12. So now in this 8.10, Shat Chakra Kriya is spoken about, where the life air is going from bottom most to the Agya chakra, topmost chakra. But after that, what he has to do is mentioned in the next verse. That is, he has to chant Om. Then he will chant Om. Then 11, 12, it renounce the sense gratification, especially sex life. You have to give up the sex life. And then one fixes the mind on the heart. So this is a process. Fix the mind in devotion to the Supreme Lord. This is the process how for the yogis it moves. So now this is, let us see the next verse. Before that, let me see something. Okay, done. So the now the requirement of Shat Chakra Yoga and the result of Shat Chakra Yoga is given in the 11th verse. Go to that. So Vishwanath Chakra Thakur mentions, or Baldev Vishwanath Chakra, I cannot understand this method of fixing the prana in the Agya Chakra. Therefore, what is the method? What is to be chanted? What is the object of meditation? What is the ultimate goal to be achieved? Anticipating these questions, the Lord speaks. Krishna speaks the three verses to answer. So Krishna knows that a person may have difficulty in understanding all these details, and he will not only understanding but also practicing. Practicing another challenge. It is so difficult to have sense control towards the eyes. It's very much attracted towards the all attractive things, especially the opposite sex. I want to observe and absorb in all forms whatever is possible to see is available. So such kind of things are very difficult for him. Therefore, anticipating such questions, Krishna is telling further now. Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vidanti Vishanti Yat Yo Vitaraga Yadichantu Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahena Pravakshe. Translation. Piyush Prabhu.
Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkar, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation.
Yes. Person who are, sorry, I couldn't pay attention because of some fault here, but I read again. Person who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkar. So now the 11th verse talking about Omkar, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain the salvation. So, Omkar. Omkar is been spoken here now, the 11th verse. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that in the Vedic system, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Omkar and learn the ultimate impersonal Brahman by living with a spiritual master in complete celibacy. In this way, they realize that there are two features of Brahmanas, Brahman features. This practice is very essential for the student's advancement in spiritual life, but at moment such brahmachari, celibate life is not at all possible. So such kind of life is what is gaining in the Vedic system, because the environment is not so conducive. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhupada says that towards the end, that unless one practices celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. So we have to practice brahmacharya, and then the life will be very easy. Although it is difficult, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has announced, according to the spiritual injunction of the Kali, of the age of Kali, that in this age, no process of realizing the Supreme is possible except the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So in this way, person can perfect his